Don, you have amassed what a lot of people feel maybe, if not the best, one of the best collections of vintage drag racers. Where did that all begin?
Well, it all began because I was involved in the 60s when these cars started coming out from the factories. I always loved the factory race cars. And one by one, as they became available, that's the way that I wanted to go. I've always felt I've been here to actually save these cars. A lot of these cars, as you know, did not get saved. That's why there's few of them today. But we have saved a lot of the drag racing history by saving these cars.
These cars look fantastic. In fact, most of them look like they're literally brand new. Is that the way that you acquired these cars, or have you brought these cars up to this high level?
You'll see several cars in the garage that are actually original paint cars, especially the street version of these cars. Or many cars are actually 30,000 miles or 18,000 mile cars. So there's a lot of original cars in the garage. But the factory race cars have all been restored.
You know, there are so many people that would love to own one 1963 Impala Z11. You have several of them. What makes those cars so collectible and so special?
Well, number one, they only made 57 Z11 cars. So the Z11s immediately became a collector piece, immediately.
Out of just a handful of the Z11 cars that were raced back in the day and that exist today, there's one that really sits out there in everybody's mind, kind of a household name for the car guys, and you've got that car. Tell us about Old Reliable.
Old Reliable was the number one Z11 built. It was the first car built. And you can see that with the aluminum on the car, the back side of the hood, the inner fenders, stuff have never been painted. So it was actually the mule car that they had built. And that car won 90% of its races in '63 and early '64, which was unheard of in those days. And the car has remained all these years so original. With all the innovations that Strickler and Jenkins did to the car, it's all still there. And the car still runs really, really well.
Being a Pontiac guy my whole life, the Super Duty cars from the early 1960s are considered to be the holy grail. Yours is spectacular. What's the history of that one?
The dealer that raced the car started racing in the early 60s with Pontiacs. It's really the only one of that two-tone color combination out there as far as the Super Duties are concerned. And that particular car has all the aluminum pieces on it. So it's a great car and a great color combination.
You cannot overstate the importance of the 1968 Mustang Cobra Jets. Overnight, they became a drag racing sensation.
These are the first lightweight Mustangs they ever built. They were pulled off the line as 390 cars and sent to different shops around the country. They are a special group of 50 cars that were built specifically for drag racing. It was Ford's first endeavor with the Mustang into racing.
Hemi fever is still so alive and well today. We talk about it all the time that it started the street Hemi in 1966 and before that in 1964 with the race Hemi. But what I've learned from your collection is you've got the very car that started it all. How did that come about?
Well, Bud Faubel tells a story when he was alive quite often that in '64, when they announced the race Hemi, he got his order in first. And he went to Detroit and talked to the Chrysler people. And he actually drove his car from Detroit to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. But that was the first race Hemi sold to the public. He had such a good time with that car. And he won a lot of races with the car. And of course, he was national champion in '64 and in '65.
At Mecum, we've seen collections sell many times. Have you thought about how you're going to feel standing there watching these cars that have meant so much to you moving on to someone else's possession?
I have thought about that, and I've resolved myself to the fact that it's the right thing to do for the cars. It's nothing about me now, it's about the cars. I'm making the best move for the cars in their future. And I would hope that somebody that has the same knowledge and desire to keep them as good as I've kept them in the future, because the future generations deserve to see these cars. Today's cars are nothing like these cars. So we want to keep them and preserve them that way.